The galactic database was a monotonous archive, filled with dry statistics and endless, mind-numbing animations. The young technician, having just left his first clutch, had been eager to delegate the basics to AI and focus on the art of asking the right questions. Today was different, though. He was preparing to integrate a new database, one that had been withheld by the human contingency under the pretext of hardware, software, and security incompatibility. The humans had even gone so far as to demand that millions of worlds convert to their standards. They conjured up imaginary monsters and fantastical disasters, warning of strange creatures like worms or hackers that would rise from the dark to wreck, steal, or burn all data. The galactic community laughed, but the humans doubled down, enforcing one-way data traffic under severe criminal and trade sanctions. They built beautiful, free stations that absorbed galactic data while incinerating any code attempting to exit. After nearly half a lifetime of negotiations, the humans proposed a tested demonstration to prove that their warnings were genuine, that data could indeed be weaponized against the skeptical galactic community. They offered to fund a control system, a nexus linking the two databases, but refused to build it themselves, claiming that the data would be invalidated if touched by human hands. They even insisted on ignorance of the nexus's location, demanding only that it be on the main networks and equipped with firewalls that could be physically destroyed if the experiment went awry. The human government remained tight-lipped about the expected duration of the test, but their gambling houses buzzed with speculation over how quickly it would all go wrong. The technician found himself seated in the most critical chair of his profession, ready to activate the finest emulator his team had developed. They had cloned and anonymized data from thousands of worlds, seamlessly integrating them into a simulation that could convince even the most skeptical observer that they were looking at a major planetary hub, the linchpin of quadrant trade and science. The human government announced the shutdown of all official network systems, leaving only the general population connected while state and military networks went dark. Confusion flickered across the technician's face. Were they supposed to do that, he asked. We didn't ask them, came the uncertain reply. Perhaps the humans feared the galactic community would uncover secrets they preferred to keep hidden. Despite the shutdown, the human database showed only a minimal drop in activity, well within the margin of error. The Nexus was greenlit. The technician glanced at his directors and the sole human observer present. The human leaned forward, his tone ominous. Please activate your recording. The attacks have already begun, and I require the data. A quick check of the screens revealed nothing. The Nexus isn't open yet. Attack is impossible, the technician muttered. The human grunted. My friend, they're already in. You just haven't seen them yet. It's our worst-case scenario, and 40 years of warnings haven't changed a thing. Earth says to open the Nexus when ready. A light on the dashboard turned green. With little ceremony, the technician began cutting through the required authorizations until the final prompt appeared. Do you wish to proceed? He muttered a prayer to the rubber duck of his profession and confirmed the command. The network flashed on the screens as the two data systems met, translating and processing at blinding speed. It became immediately apparent which side was winning. Earth screen systems adapted and overcame all resistance as the Nexus began spewing terabytes of data in all directions. The technician fumbled with the protocols, attempting to close the firewalls, but his system refused to acknowledge him. The doors had been pried open, leaving the galaxy helpless as the human data stream flooded from the Nexus. Alarms blared as systems rebooted and admin control was forcibly removed. A mocking message flashed on the screens. Nexus is now designated as Pornhub Central SL. Brave new worlds. New directories are available, pancakes and furries for you. The human observer, bemused, entered a code into his comms. Deep within the server farm supporting the experiment, an EMP field activated, frying the machines instantly. The Nexus died in a blink, leaving the command center in darkness, until local systems could be repaired and brought back online. The technician, shaken, reported, the human sites are back up and running. Data bleed is minimal. It looks like whatever just happened is contained, and the human remained relaxed as the disgruntled Xenos of the community were forced to attend what he called a post-mortem. The translation didn't help the mood. One of the directors, seething with anger, was the first to speak. You lied. You knew where our system was and planted a bomb in it. The experiment is invalid. The human, unfazed, poured himself more coffee. There was no bomb, he replied calmly. Some of our more enterprising idiots met one of your more gullible contractors. They stole server farm designs from us and sold them to you, including an EMP bomb reliant on 19 different systems running at full power. That would never happen in testing, so we knew it was for today. The room erupted in shouts, forcing the human to raise his hand for silence. Please. He continued, the ones who sold the design to you also came to us. We paid them a significant sum and then employed them. We quarantined the information, deeming it an accurate reflection of the test. The purpose was to see if your systems were as secure as you believed, that they could withstand a simple connection to our data space. He pulled up a new screen. Let us watch what actually happened. The display showed phishing attacks before the Nexus opened, most of which were missed because the galactic community hadn't considered monitoring the traffic. We did, the human stated. As soon as the official human sites disconnected, a flood of data began spilling out, revealing the Nexus's location. Malicious and curious code surrounded the inert Nexus. The human paused the display. This is where they got your contractor and staff. Obviously it worked, because then this happened. He resumed the playback, showing how the Nexus activated and was immediately overwhelmed by credential downloads, which compromised the firewalls. Other programs rapidly seized control, swapping and transmitting huge volumes of data until the entire system crashed. That's when I blew your servers, the human remarked, pointing to the sudden halt. It was far too late to fix anything with software. A hard burn was required. On Earth, we would never reuse those servers again. We'd physically destroy every component if necessary. Even our workforce would strip down and use hammers to do it. This is such a case. 10 days later, at a much more somber meeting, the full extent of the damage was revealed. The human remained unchanged, but the Xenos looked older and more disheartened. Some of our governments have declared this an act of war. One of the directors began. We prefer to believe you acted in good faith, something I dearly hope to be true. I must add that you're effectively speaking as a witness for the defense. There are those who invested heavily in our success and are now reaping the rewards of failure. The human stood, giving the meeting a swift bow before responding. I'll start at the beginning. Our space exploration has always been controlled by our central powers. They may have been awkward, conniving, and at odds, but they were not malicious. When our early fleet met you and discovered your entirely open network, we were amazed, delighted even. We thought you a collection of idealists, free with your data and glad to share. Imagine our surprise when we found out you thought it was hidden, that it was encrypted. My God, our children's toys are more seriously protected. We locked your systems down hard on our side. We imposed horrific penalties on anyone who dared to connect to them. Our people thought we were hiding monsters, and we couldn't explain that we were protecting innocents. If we had, you would have been destroyed. He took a sip of water before continuing. We tried to warn you. We showed you our systems and we proved it time and again. But you wouldn't listen. Not until we suggested we fund the great boondoggle that was the Nexus. A feeding frenzy of stuck-up xenotech charlatans selling you your own belief in the strength of your system. You never even asked where all your good, ethical, and capable people went when they saw the wind change. We hired them. He pulled up screen grabs of the event. Within 4.8 seconds, you had lost control of the Nexus. Even as you turned it on, it was working for us. I'm guessing you still have no idea how it happened because the gutless wonders you employed to build it are busy blaming each other. We'll furnish you with a full technical analysis. A real one. He moved to sit, but the stunned chairman interrupted. So this is where your governments went, while your militaries all went dark to coordinate this attack. The human sighed and turned back to the committee. You truly don't understand. This was a big deal for your people because you failed. But we've told our people nothing. They thought our funding for the Nexus was a water reclamation project on Mars. We shut down all our servers so we didn't accidentally respond to the attacks and kill them all off. What happened to you is what happens every day to every system on my homeworld. You didn't even make the news cycle. This was not coordinated. This is just what happens when you open up your system to our public. The committee mumbled to itself before concluding, we'll await your analysis before judgment. The chairman hesitated before adding, please, I now believe every word you've spoken to be true. But the loss of the Nexus, if not your governments or military, then who attacked us? The human turned off his microphone and grimaced, no one and everyone. Gamers seeking out new networks, influencers looking for a new gimmick, bored tech staff, teenagers with a god complex. This is all a game to them. Hide and seek, crosswords, Sudoku, chess, and poker all rolled into one. Human games. He seemed briefly depressed. Don't worry. Our firewalls are back up. Some malware might have made it off the Nexus, but we're training your people since you didn't. Good night. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. For every comment that says we will heart every single one of them, thank you for your time.